Okay. Hopefully, everybody is alive, alert, awake, and enthusiastic about life and living and ready to have a fantastic time of learning and growing. I am Elizabeth Green, and I welcome everybody who is here now and who will be listening on the replay to Perfectly Perfect, the show that will give you tips, strategies, and resources so you can live your best life now. I'm going to go ahead and type in Taming the Tweens and let people know. And here comes Karen, Taming the Terrible Tweens.
Taming the Terrible Tweens.
Okay, and go ahead. And are you looking good? Because it's going to show us over there. All right. So, ready to go? Come on in, Karen. There we go. Let me make you a host, Miss Karen, just in case. And hello. And so I have...
Good morning.
Good day.
Okay. I have with me today, of course, my fabulous co-host, Ms. Karen Fern, Coach Karen, up there in Canada joining me today. And I also have one of my favorite guests, Monica Bickerstaff, who has been with us many other times, that is going to be sharing some really good news about how to tame those terrible tweens. Hi, Omar. Thanks for joining us. Monica, if you could get just a little bit more light as we are just introducing. There we go. Great. So we can see your beautiful face. Okay. And so just for those who this is the first time that you're joining us, I am Elizabeth Green again. I am an intuitive channel, life coach, teacher, and founder of the Indigo Institute of Nevada. And as I said, my mission in life is to help those highly sensitive, natural-born leaders know how to be able to live productive lives and enjoy it while you're doing it. And of course, if you have kids, it is important that you get them going in the right direction if you want to have peace in your house. And that's what we're going to be talking about. If you to follow me, please follow me on Twitter. And if you're looking up at the top, you see two of me. Please follow me on the one that says K. Elizabeth Green and not the one that says Liz. That's a long story. Won't go into that, but please follow me on Twitter at K. Elizabeth Green. You can find me on Facebook at K. Elizabeth Green. And of course, at my website, if you want to reach out to me. We have another one of our favorite people with us, Tiffany Rochelle, who has been tripping and
there she is
all over Africa,
all over the world,
and is back with us today. Now, as I said, Karen is. Monica is one of our favorite guests. But before I introduce Monica, Karen, want to say hello?
Hi, everybody.
And Tiffany.
Hey, howdy, y'all.
Hey, Tiffany.
Got my eyebrows on, girls.
I
see. To join us in the discussion today. Powerhouse today. So you can expect some fabulous information coming across. Now, as I said, Monica,
Liz,
yes.
We're getting an audio only poor internet signal from you and Karen.
Okay, let me reboot.
I've seen everybody.
I see. I don't have that one. I see.
Me too. I see everybody.
Monica, just refresh. So just hit your refresh button, and it'll take you out and bring you back in.
Okay.
Okay.
Let's.
Okay. Okay, you're seeing everybody pretty clearly. Omar, you seeing everybody? Okay, here she comes. She's popping back in. Go ahead and jump into the seat. There we go. Is that better? Well, we'll see in a minute. She's coming on. She's coming in. Yes, she's coming in. The guest is coming in just a second. But as I was saying, as she's vibrating and coming on, there she comes. She stopped vibrating. So I think she's almost here. That's what I love about Blab. When we are, go back out and come back in, Monica. Kick you out. We'll get you in here. But as I said, as my guest is getting herself on, and I'm going to stop the recording. Okay. As I said, we have one of my favorite guests, Monica Bickerstaff, who is a certified herbalist or a certified essential oils, certified
holistic health practitioner.
Okay, and it's a difference from
it's a mouthful.
Yes. It's a difference from somebody who's certified and somebody who is not. But Monica has been on several times, and as we have talked about how you can use essential oils to help us with clearing our chakras and getting grounded. And the last time she was on, and if you haven't seen the series, I would suggest that you go to my website. Some great information was shared during that series as we went through all 7 chakras. And also Monica was on when we talked about how to deal with EMFs, those electromagnetic frequencies. We are spiritual beings, and being energetic beings, it is important that we not only take care of our physical body, but we recognize that we also have an energetic body that also needs to be taken care of. And while we were discussing our chakras, Monica mentioned that she had essential oils that could be used with those tween years, those 8, 9, 10, 11, not quite teenage years, when hormones start raging and everybody gets quite silly, and we've all gone through it. Some of us never get out of it. So this might be something you can use for yourself, but especially for those of us who have young ones. We're going to talk about how can we support them as they move through into maturity with their self-esteem, their mood swings, those short attention spans. How can we support them? So I'm going to turn it over to Monica and let her tell you a little bit about herself, and then we are going to start the discussion. Go, Monica. Over to you.
All right. So as Elizabeth mentioned, I am a certified holistic health practitioner. And what that means is that I have clinical experience and expertise in diagnosing diseases in the body temple and in the mind, and treating with alternative therapies. So my expertise is in herbology, aromatherapy, and traditional Chinese medicine. And I use herbs and oils, getting it down to the basics, herbs and oils to help to make you feel better and to be at your healthiest best.
And
one of the things,
go ahead. Okay.
One of the things that I like.
You first.
One of the things that I like to say to my clients is that we all have something going on with ourselves. And it's just about being transparent and being honest with ourselves, whether it's an old back injury acting up, or whether it's a new diagnosis of diabetes 2, or whether it's chronic female problems, or whether it's dealing with terrible tweens. We all have something going on, and it's best to just acknowledge it, embrace your issue, and let's just keep it moving.
And that's what, when I first met Monica, I was having a big problem with being affected by all of these computer things that we're using to communicate with us, with you, these electromagnetic frequencies. And she shared on oil, one of her blends, and I started using it for myself. And I noticed a couple of things. I noticed, one, it made a difference for me and the symptoms that I was having, but also by diffusing it in the house when my dear granddaughter came over. And she was in one of her moods, how they get really snippy when they're going through those tween years. I noticed that she calmed down. And by just leaving her alone, leaving her in that atmosphere, I saw a great difference in her attitude. So, I had to definitely call Monica up and said, Monica, what kind of potion did you give me that made a difference? And so she told me. What did you tell me, Monica?
The Terrible Tween Essential Blend. This is what we all need if we're dealing with terrible tweens. And, I've affectionately laughed with you and Karen in the past, especially during the chakra series, when I've said that if you have anyone in your household who is a problem, okay, diffuse, diffuse, diffuse. I don't care if it's an in-law, a mate, a husband, a wife, a tween.
A house guest.
A house guest.
Yes.
I have a potion that will rock your world and help to smooth everything out. And the secret is to diffuse. Now, my tween blend is specific for tweens. And if you have a diffuser, or if you don't have a diffuser, you need to invest in one, because diffusing essential oils really changes and transforms your ambiance, your environment, your olfactory system and your nerves, olfactory nerves awaken, and touches the limbic system in the brain, which then affects the heart rate, your blood pressure, your hormones, your cortisol levels, your memory, your breathing, all of that. So that's why it has an immediate effect when you diffuse essential oils, immediately affecting people in your environment. So you can take that snippy tween, and within 15 minutes, she's purring at your side.
Hey, and I can testify to that. Okay. And I know, Tiffany, you said that laughing about a house guest. Yes. Because what's nice about diffusing, as far as the people that are in your environment are concerned, is that you are just putting a fragrance out there that smells good. And that's what, like my granddaughter walked in, and even my son, they walked in there. What's that? What's that? Smells sort of good, right. And didn't say anything, just because she was very snippy. This was one of those days that Nana wasn't one of her favorite people that she wanted to visit. And so I just went on back into my office, but I made sure I left the diffuser right there by her. Let me tell you, And it didn't even take 15 minutes for her to do it because it really made a difference in calming the emotions. And she told me something, Monica. She came
What did
back
she tell you?
She told me that her teacher uses one of those.
Oh, yeah.
She said that my teacher says that that's what she uses when we go crazy.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Well, one of the things that I do is I'm also a college professor, and this time of semester, when the semester's almost over and we're all scrambled and all cray-cray, I take my diffuser into the classroom. Prior to that, I always have my own spray. And students have known me to literally walk up to them if they're snippy or if they're acting out of sorts, because I command respect in my classroom. You know how that is. And I teach writing, so it's very personal. The emotions come to surface, and sometimes people just wild out and snap on people, but I'm known to walk up to them and actually squirt them. And that's a whole nother spray. But the one for tweens is specifically for tweens. And if anyone watching today is interested, the best way to contact me is to find me on Facebook under Monica Bickerstaff, and just look me up, or here on Twitter at Vegas Holistic.
And now, Monica, what kind of essential oils are within your oil blend? Because I had, once I find out something that's good, I'm your best advocate. I'm running around and sharing it with everybody,
Yes, you are. You're my poster woman, Liz.
Oh, hey, I was doing a class, and one of the people, I was talking about essential oils and how effective I felt they were. And she yanked out some that she had, and she said, "Here, smell." And well, the blend that she had turned me off. So what do you have specifically, or what types of fragrances, or not fragrances, or oils are in your blend?
Okay, so let's recap. Let's have a little step-by-step ABC recap of aromatherapy. Aromatherapy is a medical science that has been in existence for the last 5,000 years, brought into the forefront by the Egyptian culture. These essential oils, which are distilled from plants, flowers, roots, and seeds, they are actually medicinal. So what I do as a certified aromatherapist is I work individually with you to create a custom blend. Because here's the thing, if you have a tween who has been diagnosed with ADD or ADHD or Asperger's syndrome, I'm not going to give you the same blend as someone with a tween who has not been diagnosed with those things. So literally, you come to me because I know the science and the physiology of the body, the science of how the oils work with the body and mind, and especially dealing with children and young people on the spectrum with respect to autism. And I will create a custom blend for you. Now, Liz, when you came to me and talked about Regina, we spoke a little bit, and what I came up with was a different type of blend than what I have in front of me here. The blend here, #TerribleTweens, this has a base of grapeseed oil, which is rich in vitamin E, and too many of our young people, because they're so immersed and absorbed with the tablets and the cell phones and texting and tweeting and twerking, right? Okay, they're so obsessed with all of these things that, number one, we don't have our eye contact going on, but they don't get outside enough. So they're missing a lot of minerals and vitamin supplements. So grapeseed oil is the base oil. It has a lot of vitamin E, which is wonderful for circulation and for skin. And then I also have wild orange, lavender, lemon, rosemary, which is wonderful for clarity, getting into the woods. I have sandalwood, cedarwood. And then if we're talking about young girls in particular, as they are on the threshold of menstruation and those types of hormonal ups and downs and ins and outs, I add geranium, which is known for balancing hormones, and I overdose on the lavender because that's very calming, and it's a natural antidepressant. So with both young boys and young girls, you're dealing with the solemnness, the surliness. What else? Just so much is going on with them. And it helps for us to understand what's going on with them too. A lot of times they don't have control over it, and we have to recognize that.
Yeah, and I think that's the key, is to recognize when you see something going on and to have something that can assist them. Now, Tiffany, you have a teenager, right?
Yes, I've had 3 of them.
And
Hello? Sorry, I got some feedback in there. Go ahead.
okay. And how old is yours,
My
the youngest now?
is 14. He'll be 15 in June.
Okay.
So, it said, how do we deal with terrible tweens? Choking isn't an option. No. I don't know. For me, my kids their terribles came a little later than the tweens. Fortunately for me,
Breaking up a little bit.
Gave me a little more time to get acclimated and get ready. But of course, as you know, I'm in, we lost Elizabeth.
Yep.
So
keep talking, Tiffany.
Okay. So I'm in transformational work. So I've used a lot of the psychology and a lot of just remembrance in dealing with my kids, because I think one of the things that happens is, as parents, we become impatient because we're busy. And so we have to remember too, to some degree, our kids are reflecting us and they're reflecting our energy. And so even though they have their very own, we can play into that, or we can help disperse it. And so I know that a conversation I've had more than once with mine is, okay, I remember when I was your age. And then I really literally tell them, like, I sucked when I was your age too. Like, I had a bad attitude and I didn't know why. And my mom said she didn't like me. And I think being able to be, to take those things into account when we deal with our kids, along with getting the natural things, because as you said, we have so many electronics and so many other things counteracting all of the positive ions, which are not good for us, need to be counteracted with the negative ions. So, being able to use diffusers, being able to bring salt lamps into your home to counteract all of the radiation coming off the television and the video games, because I think that's one of the reasons why my kids' terribleness probably was delayed, because I didn't have a lot of electronics and video games in my house.
Right.
My kids actually were the only kids who went outside. So,
yes,
I think if parents can get their kids outside too, the nature helps a lot with it. But, again, energy, the nature, the natural need, and then the relatability. I almost recently had to choke my son, but I think he's all right now.
Well, nowadays they can report you, and they can take you away. So it's important for us to find other ways of dealing with it. Karen, what about you? Because you have
I'm sorry. I was saying now you're going to make me turn into my mother. My mother always, she would post the number on the refrigerator. And she would say, go ahead and call them. And I actually my kids too. Because I said, when they come, they're taking you. They're not taking me. So
Right.
I'll be here in my house, in my bed, being comfortable. You'll be trying to find your shoestrings tomorrow morning. So
Right.
so you figure it out. But that's another thing. Another show.
Now, Karen, you have a young one too, right?
Yeah, and I agree. It's on the fridge. You can call away if you like. I'm totally into you can call if you like. Yeah, but same as Tiffany was saying, my eldest son got his first game. I think he was about 50 before he got a game. And we had one TV, so everybody had to take turns watching it because I didn't grow up with TV. So, being outside, playing basketball and enjoying outside, that's what they did. My daughter never got anything, I know, and she tells people she was 19 before she got a DS. This is ridiculous. She used to complain about it. But I was not the type of mom who bought those things. And my son got his because my husband bought it. And he was still monitored how we use it. My youngest now that just turned 16, he came in this time where my husband bought him something earlier, and they always complain that he got it, but it's still monitored. How much hours you think you need to spend on it? He says to me, I said, so how much hours of cleaning you think you need to do? How much hours of homework? And when I start piling it up, of course, he doesn't want to balance the two. So the argument is over. So I didn't really have to run into the big argument that I see friends do. And I think what Tiffany is saying is true because we held it back. Like it wasn't a priority for us, giving it to our kids. So the fight was a little less. Now we have other areas that, of course, we're fighting them on because that's just the path of life, right? But that part, we didn't have a big fight with.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if you've noticed or not. I find that parents are now handing tablets and phones to babies to for here, they're riding in the grocery cart with these tablets and these phones, not recognizing how they're being affected by all of this energy, that negative energy that is penetrating their body. I remember, and maybe that's showing how old I am, but I remember when we were told not to stand by the microwave. Mm-hmm. And I remember when I first moved into the apartment I'm in right now, it didn't have a microwave. And my granddaughter asked me, and she's just turning 9, she asked me, Nana, how are you going to heat up your food? Mm-hmm. On the stove. Mm-hmm. but it's already cooked. How are you going? And I mean, she was dead serious. How are you going to heat it up? And where we were warned not to be exposed to these things, it is just common now that the tweens that are coming through, they don't understand what it's like to be without it. And not only being affected by that, but all of the hormones that are raging in their body. And yes, a swift backhand might have been very effective when we were younger. And I remember telling her about the look. Our parents had the look that they gave us. Yes. They didn't bother to have to scream and yell. They gave us the look. Mm-hmm. And we knew we would be meeting the floor if they had to give us another look. Or definitely we would have problems once we got home. So having a method that can be used, and perhaps they did take it a little further than they should have.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So knowing that we've grown a little bit, that we can use other methods now that we realize that our essential oils are available. Is why I said, Monica, you got to come on. You got to share the information with us.
What you're talking about, it's very true. It's a catch-22 because we are rapidly moving into technology is not going away. It's getting more advanced, and
Exactly.
the degree to where we want our kids to know about technology because that's the future and they need to be aware of it and advanced in it. But we also need to be aware whether we're using electronics to babysit our kids and shut them up. When I'm in South Africa, one of the things that I notice the most is you see kids everywhere, but you don't hear them. You don't hear them because they're not crying, they're not whining, they're not having a tantrum, and none of them have electronics. I have yet to see a kid in South Africa with an electronic. They're well behaved, but it's because their parents are still paying attention to them.
Yes.
They take time to be with their kids. And I'm sure they discipline them. I'm sure there's some harsh discipline, but for the amount of times, the length of time I've been there and seen kids in public places, it's not even an issue. Like they're not even talking to their kids like, hey, calm down, stop. The kids are calm. They look content. And also their food is organic for the most part because they're not using all the GMOs. Their food is manufactured and grown there. So those are, the other things. And I'm sure they're still using a lot of natural remedies and oils and essential things that, we have gotten away from here. So I think it's essential to go back to that. And especially, I think for us as Black mothers, there's just certain things that we do. My cousin and I were talking the other day how we grew up with cod liver oil and we grew up with aloe vera and vitamin E. Like, I don't remember taking medicine. I remember taking nasty oils and you had a cold, you got a hot toddy. That was some whiskey, some honey and lemon. Like everything was very natural. My parents grew food in our backyard. We went to the farms and picked our food. And so we need to strike a balance of being able to say, okay, let's diffuse some of this. We can't completely get rid of it unless we go live in the desert, but how do we balance it out and make sure that we're protecting ourselves while we're in it?
And even living in the desert, where Monica and I both do, it still requires it. Like, Monica just came back from a birthday party with her grandmother. Tell them how old, and she's got two grandmothers that are around this age. Tell them.
Yes, my grandmother turned 100 years old, my father's mother, and that's the mega celebration that we were celebrating over the weekend. And then my mother's mother is 90-something. She has yet to really tell us how old she is, and at this point, she probably doesn't even remember. And I say that not because we don't know, but we kind of have an idea. But that particular Nana has 3 different driver's license with 3 different birth years. So
let me find out
the one who's 100, she is definitely 100. And that's the Nana who is actually, she's my mentor. She is the one who literally from age of 4, I was kind of like tagging along with her and looking at how she blended and brewed and canned her own essential oils. I remember seeing the little purple lavender. Maybe this is why purple is my favorite color today, but the purple lavender buds in oil jars and rosemary, all of these fresh herbs that she grew in the backyard and actually distilled through some sort of maceration process with the oil itself. I was always very precocious and hyperactive, and so she would literally just pull the jar from the shelf and rub the lavender oil all over me, and that would kind of chill me out for a minute. But yes, she has and I told her I had put her picture up on Facebook yesterday, and all of the new fans that she has, and she told me she wants her own Facebook page.
Right
So
on.
this is coming from a 100-year-old who still has her mind intact and is getting around. She's not on any medications, and she's getting around with her own mobility and her own self-sufficiency. So there's something to be said for that clean, healthy living and getting back to our roots, literally. Getting back to the roots of the herbs, the oils, clean food, households that don't have all kinds of radiation and EMFs going on. We have to start conversing with each other again, face to face.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I love.
That is one reason that I love Blab, is that, even though we're not in the same spot, we still can see each other. And you feel like that, and really get to know each other. Like Karen mentioned down here that she's really into organics also, and that lavender is really calming. Karen, I think you came in after Monica was talking about her essential blend that she has specifically to tame the terrible tweens.
Right.
Why don't you share maybe some of the results that you've gotten, or some of the observations you've made when some of the tweens that you've worked with, Monica, have utilized this particular blend?
Well, one thing that we have to remember when our kids hit the ages of, now it's younger and younger because of some of the reasons we were speaking of earlier, the EMF saturation and the GMOs and everything. So now they're hitting that tween stage as early as 7 and 8 in some areas of the country, but definitely by 9, you've got a tween. And we have to remember, as parents and guardians, that this is like a very dramatic little period for them. It's an upheaval, it's drama, everything is over exaggerated, right? But to be honest and to be fair, there becomes a change in the dynamic of family relationships with our tweens. Their position in the role within the family changes because they are no longer the baby. And as we are treating them differently and their little bodies are changing, the role of the peer group now, the importance of their peer groups comes into play and sometimes takes over from our importance, right? It's not what we say, it's what Tim says, or it's what Keisha said, or, but it's the importance of the peer group for self-identity and self-acceptance. And then you combine that plus with social media's influence on identity and forming identity of our tweens. And then you sprinkle in a little bit of hormonal and sexual changes. So you have a gumbo. You have a bouillabaisse, right? And what ends up happening is, if we don't, as parents and guardians, if we do not pay attention to these changes, that gumbo boils over, and then we just have a mess on top of our stove. Okay, literally speaking. And hashtag terrible tweens, the blend I have here. This is a blend that I like to use either through a diffuser or to apply topically. Now, it's rich enough and smooth enough and fragrant enough coming directly from the bottle that you can apply it to the forearms and to the neck area and the chest area and to the back of the neck. And that will help to tame your tween, to calm those surges of hormonal imbalance or anger management issues or just lashing out. And also, we find at this time that look, I know my attention span is getting shorter and shorter. So you can just imagine that we have 2 seconds to reach them with our message before they tune out. And that's one of the things that I've noticed is that attention spans are getting shorter and shorter. Well, my blend has rosemary in it, rosemary essential oil, which is paramount for clarity and focus. And so that really, really helps. But the blend diffused, I've noticed one of the things that I tutor tweens, especially tween girls, with writing and journaling. And one of the things that I've noticed is that this blend has helped to kind of calm and tame those hormonal changes, which are more prevalent, more personal, and more unpredictable in young girls than in young boys. So that's just the reality of what's going on in our bodies. So the other thing that is very important to tweens is their appearance. You're talking about self-concept, self-esteem, self-identity. Many tweens we see now, regardless of what we are feeding them, we can be feeding them very whole, very healthful diets at home, but because of what's going on internally or also what they're absorbing through the environment, they develop acne. And as you know, acne can affect that self-esteem of that tween. So essential oils that I like to recommend for acne, and you can create this at home. I love providing you all with DIY recipes, is in a base of jojoba oil. Now, jojoba oil is wonderful for their skin and our skin because it is an anti-aging skin, and it actually helps to repair cells, cellular regeneration we hear a lot about, that that you can achieve and receive naturally with a base of jojoba oil. But then you add the lemon essential oil, lavender essential oil, bergamot, and cedarwood. And all of the essential oils also have an emotional component. So cedarwood, anything, and we've talked about this when we were talking about the chakras. When you think of any of the woods, you're thinking of roots, all right? It's very important for tweens to feel accepted, to feel rooted. Not so much in the communities, but in the home and also within their own spirits. They have to feel rooted, just as we have to feel rooted. That's what inspires our self-confidence. So the cedarwood provides the strength. The bergamot is wonderful to chase away depression. It's for euphoria. The lavender is an antiseptic and will help to prevent scarring of acne, to clear those blemishes. And the lemon, just think about when you cut a fresh lemon, how good you feel when you cut it, right? You feel that burst, that aroma that comes from the rind of a fresh lemon. And it's something that you just don't forget. A lot of our natural cleansers have the citrus component, the orange, the lemon. That's because they're natural mood boosters. So, do yourselves and your tweens a favor with creating this specific blend for acne. And that will definitely help to kind of calm them down a little bit. Other things that I like to speak about is...
Before you go on, let me ask, let's see if we have it all. You had cedarwood, bergamot, lavender, and lemon. You're mixing it together in jojoba?
Yes.
Okay. And how many drops are you using?
Okay, so let's take 4 ounces of jojoba oil and always mix together in a glass container. Okay, and if we're taking 4 ounces of jojoba oil, let's take 15 drops of each. So 15 drops of cedarwood, 15 drops of bergamot, 15 drops of lavender, and 15 drops of lemon in your glass container, your glass bottle. Shake it, shake it, shake it. Keep it away from the sunlight, and then apply topically after your tween washes his or her face. Now, here's the other thing. They don't always like to keep up with, like daily hygiene components without us reminding them. So seriously, sometimes the teeth go unbrushed for maybe a day, or that's just not paramount on their mind. So as parents, as guardians, we still have to stay on top of them. It's like when they were toddlers and did you brush your teeth? Well, when they turn tweens, did you brush your teeth? Did you wash your face? That's so important. Twice a day, okay? Because also we want to calm down that sebum overproduction of oil that's often present in their skins, as internally their bodies are raging with all kinds of hormones and other things going on. So, and then depending on what climate you live in, we live in the desert where there's always dust around, but also if you live in a high humectant or humid climate, you have to make sure that your tween washes his or her face twice a day too, because within that moisture, you also have dander, dust, all kinds of things. So that's very important.
Yeah, I want to note what's over on the side. Karen mentioned a couple of things that she uses, and vitamin C is great for the skin.
Yes, vitamin C is wonderful.
And using witch hazel.
Yes.
And I'm using that myself. I see Karen, Coach Karen, that you put down there that do you use it or just your mother was using it?
My mom.
Okay.
My mom uses it.
I use witch hazel now, and it's those going back to those tried and true old-fashioned things and utilizing them makes a difference. Right. Now, this blend, before you move on, this blend of the cedarwood, the bergamot, lavender, and lemon, would it make a difference for us if you are having a breakout using something like that for an adult?
Absolutely. Absolutely. For our skin, absolutely. I would, though, for us, for more adult skin, especially for adult female skin, I would change up just a little bit. I would take the bergamot out and replace it with ylang-ylang. I would take the lavender out and replace it with geranium or rose absolute. Those are anti-aging, hormone balancing. Regardless of what transition you are in as a woman, as a grown woman, that's very important for us to continue to take care of our skin. Okay. But jojoba oil should be your carrier oil anytime you are blending your own skin oil, regardless of how old you are.
Okay.
Male or female.
Male or female, okay.
Yes.
Karen,
men break out too.
Oh, yeah, they do. What about breakout that they get on their back sometimes? Because if you've noticed lately, I've noticed a lot of tweens with this acne that's breaking out on their back.
Yes, I call that the back knee.
Yeah,
so, yes. And getting back to, if you're looking at something for back knee, again, they don't always, unless they're showering, they don't always reach their backs. So that's where we as parents, as guardians, step in. I would, yes, definitely use the witch hazel first with a cotton ball, or just with your hand, just pour the witch hazel, run it across the back, and then use the blend that I spoke of and apply it to the back knee.
Now, Karen mentions that her daughter is 25 and is really broken out, and they're sort of wondering what to do because she never had acne. Now, what would, at that age, and they're saying it's cystic?
Cystic acne has to do with hormone imbalance. So at age 25, your daughter's going through some sort of hormonal transition within her body temple, and it's manifesting as a hormonal imbalance. And that's why if she has never had acne before, it's showing up now. If it's here on the jaw or in the T-zone, it has to do with a congested liver. If it's here on her cheeks, under her eyes, there's something going on with her kidneys. And if it's her forehead, then it's a combo. So these are things that that you can either reach out to me and speak to me about, have your daughter reach out to me, because I would need to know if she has a regular cycle. I suspect maybe she does not have a regular cycle, but that's an individual situation that she should speak with someone like myself about.
And Monica, I do want you to type in your information, because it scrolled up a little
Oh,
bit.
yeah,
So
sure did.
That, if anybody wants to reach out, and for those of you who are going to watch this on replay, I will put down in the comments, you will see all of the contact information to be able to reach any of us that are talking right now. Karen, you've been real quiet today. Just listening, or any questions or feedback? Don't want to just leave you sitting there, my friend.
No question, just listening today. Because, you know, as usual, Monica has so much great info to give us. Today I have nothing much really that is a need in this area, but it's always good to know, to pass it along and refer if anybody, you know, needs that. I personally had acne when I was younger. When I got my first period, and I got mine early, I got at 9. So it came along with all the other, you know, things that happen when the hormonal change, and it lasts for a long time. But
yeah,
after
mine,
that, just never came back.
Yeah, I started mine early. I was lucky enough not to have really bad acne on that, but I did have some, and I know that I'm looking at my granddaughter just finished a recital, and she, as I said, she's 9, a dance recital. So I was there with her dance troupe, and I was looking around, and it is that age that they are very, very, very conscious of how they look and how other people are accepting them. So having anything that they can utilize naturally on their face. Now, as far as women, they're eager to try anything that's going to clear it up. So you don't have to force them. But what I like about the diffuser is they was, oh no, that's okay. You can affect them without them knowing. And that's what I love, you know, especially when you have anybody who's having mood swings or self-esteem issues. Because
anybody.
Using a diffuser, I am really a like I said, an advocate of it now that I'm seeing such a difference. And also, I want to mention that your grandmother's mixture, her potion, her hair potion.
Oh, yes.
I can't let a show go completely through without mentioning that, because it's made such a difference. Because when I met Karen, Monica, when did we meet? Like
we met in October of last year.
Okay, and at that time, my hair was thinning out, and I was mentioning that to Monica, and she said, well, here, this is my grandmother's special blend. And I said, okay. And you know how you do when somebody new shows you something. You say, okay. All right. You know, what can it hurt? You know, she gave me a couple of the things that were in it, and it didn't sound like it would do any damage. And I said, what the heck, let me try it. Well, as you notice now, my hair is very thick and very full. And again, I have been sharing it with other people. And Karen, I like what you said down here. I heard a teacher use one in a classroom before testing and the kids performed better. Monica and I have been sort of trying to find a couple of classrooms here in Vegas that we can do a couple of studies on that to see if it makes a big difference. Because as a special ed teacher, I know if a child can focus and if they are calm, they are definitely going to test better. And so if there is something that you can diffuse in, something that you can diffuse in the room will make a big difference. We're still looking for that group. Now, Karen said that she thinks it was lavender that they were using opposed to a blend of other things. But I think just the fact of realizing how a diffuser and diffusing essential oils can make a difference in not only calming your own environment, but especially if you have those terrible tweens to make
right.
you know.
One of the terrible tweens. Like I have two stories. There's a girl that I went to college with, and she had diabetes, so she had to take her tests. All her exams were scheduled in a room on her own because she was going through this sort of anxiety. Some kind of mess she got when she had her baby and brought on diabetes. So it wasn't just a natural occurrence. So I don't know what it used to do to her when she heard about tests. What was the connection? But every time she would write an exam, she'll do well. If she was in a group, she just flunked. But if they put her in a room by herself, she'll do excellent. And, with this calm atmosphere. And what the professors realized, at least there were two of them who I guess believe in this sort of stuff at the time, and I didn't even know what it was. But they're the one that recognized that she had to be in a calm environment so that she can do well. During the classroom time, she was fine. But the minute there was exam time, midterms or what have you, and she was black and white, so she would just break out tremendously all over just the thought process before the exam. And my son was in another story. My son was in a small class. It was just boys. And he had a teacher that would put them 5 minutes before class, 5 to 10 minutes before class start. He will just have them go through the process of meditation. And he'd ask the parents' permission, and I'd sign. And a couple of parents, weren't agreeable because they're like, why do we want him to close their eyes and relax? This is time to teach. But I tell you, he had so much better results than other teachers just from taking that 10 minutes before class starts until, before you're ready to teach. Unfortunately, he was accused of abusing kids. And I felt so sad for him because I didn't think he'd do it. But because the parent couldn't get what she wanted, she started his allegation. He was a pretty quiet teacher. He's a Christian. So he left. He didn't want to, we wanted to fight for him and sign petition and stuff, but he just quit. I felt sad because he did such great stuff. My son, by the time this story broke up, my son had left and moved on to a new school. But I still wanted to see what we can do, but he didn't fight it. But I knew it's almost like the devil is saying, you're getting results with these boys. And I'm going to interrupt this whole process, and people couldn't see it. Just saying that as to say, there's so much great things we can do in the school system that sometimes there's just such a fight, to get those process going.
Well, that's one of the reasons I left the school system, Karen. I mean, after teaching 10 years, teaching learning disabilities for 10 years, I left because I refused to be a party to classifying and putting them in slots. It's like, and especially here in Vegas, it really bugs me because the schools are not really set up, in my opinion, to really give them the opportunity for learning. It's like, let's train them for the tourist industry. And so, we really don't care if they are prepared to go on to college. We just want them at a minimum level.
Mhm.
And unfortunately, with, when you're young, you're just looking at the dollars. You're not realizing
Right.
that the industry that you're going into, how it's going to affect you on the long term.
Mhm.
Right.
Because, and I was truly shocked when I first came in here that they were paying that a high school person with a GED was paid more than a teacher that was starting. I had 10 years when I came out here. I decided, let me go and check out as I'm transitioning from one place to another. Let me go and check out the school system. I found that I was going to get more money as a entry level hotel front desk person than a beginning teacher. And that made no sense. I'm standing next to an 18-year-old who was getting paid more than a teacher. So they weren't even encouraged to move forward.
Right.
Yeah. So, yeah. But any old way, as I'm looking at our time,
5 minutes over.
Okay.
So let me, just before we
Just
go,
to wrap up.
It's important that I talk about the anger management blend for diffusing, because one of the problems with tweens, boys and girls, is that lashing out syndrome that I call it, that happens when we least expect it, and sometimes they don't have any control over. So the emotional anger management diffusion blend is bergamot, jasmine, orange, patchouli, and ylang ylang. And just these, you can just take 5 drops right out of the bottle, the original bottle that they come into, and add them to your cold water diffuser, or your, the diffuser's better, the cold water diffuser, and then just diffuse away. In their room, in the living room, in main room of the home. So then that will get into their systems and help to just really offset all of that angst and frustration that they have.
One more time with that. I got
Can I ask a question? Can I ask a question before you go on, Monica? What's ylang ylang? Is it oil? Just wanted to know.
Ylang ylang is an essential oil. Yes.
Okay.
And how are you spelling that?
YLANG YLANG.
Okay.
It's a flower that grows primarily in Asia. It does a lot of things. If we do a show on libido and aphrodisiac, I'll go into some more about ylang ylang. But ylang ylang is essential for her.
So she's getting us excited.
Ylang ylang is an adaptogen, and it's essential for balancing hormones for boys and girls, males and females.
Okay, so for the anger management, because I think this is critical, because as indigos are concerned, that anger management, they come here with this angst. So being able to manage it is really important. So we've got bergamot, jasmine, ylang ylang, and
orange and patchouli. And that will take care of boys and girls, men and women.
Okay. And for all of you who are, again, listening on replay, what I will be doing is I'm going to list those. I'm going to have Monica send it over, and I'm going to list those in the notes so that you will be able to mix it up yourself, because those two things, and thank you so much, besides getting the Taming the Terrible Tweens blend from Monica, but you may say, hey, I don't have time for it to come. You don't know what I've got in that other room. Okay.
Right. Yes. Absolutely.
Either their face is broken out. So we've got jojoba oil for that we're going to use as a base, and we're going to use cedarwood, bergamot, lavender, and lemon. 15 drops of each of those into 4 ounces of the jojoba oil that we're going to use if they are having a real bad breakout.
Yes.
Or as you're seeing any at all.
Or the back knee or the face acne. That blend is perfect for back knee and face acne.
Okay.
Wow.
And then for anger management, we're going to use to diffuse in the house. And this is perfect because when they're mad, they're not going to talk to you. So,
right.
Okay. They don't want to discuss anything. It's like that monster in the room that ran in there and she slammed the door. So we're going to.
It's like whatever.
Okay. Yeah, that's their answer. Whatever. Nothing.
Whatever.
Nothing.
Right. Nothing. Whatever.
You can take 5 drops of the bergamot, the jasmine, the ylang ylang, and that's YLAN. And YLANG.
Ylang.
Okay.
Yes. Orange and patchouli.
And patchouli oil.
Yes.
Okay. And use that to diffuse it.
Right.
Yes.
And I have another question.
Works wonders.
Right. My daughter, she doesn't, well, I don't know, she's not breaking out right now. She's 22, but her face still have a lot from the teen breakout. So I was wondering if that still works, because now I guess she's calling it scars and, the blackheads and stuff.
So she has acne scarring, or she has cystic acne. Again, that would be something, Karen, we've got to talk, because that's something that has to do with hormones.
Yeah, me, you got to talk.
I want to talk to you. We're long overdue.
Yes, we are. Every time you come on, I'm like dying, so I'm like, here she's back, and I do.
Yes.
And I should have done,
And if she's 22, once we get into our 20s, the acne issue should be done with. But if it's not, and it's hormonally based, and that's individually based. So I would need to speak with her individually to find out, what she's eating, how much rest she's getting, what her cycle is like, all of that, because I suspect it's a hormonal imbalance. Yeah, and it's easy to reset.
Okay, because she gets
it's easy to reset
twice a month and stuff like that. Yeah, you probably would need to talk to her for sure.
Okay. And Karen, with you up in Canada, know that you can always contact Monica on Facebook, direct messenger her, because she's very good with responding to that.
Yeah,
so and since we're on different time zones, that's an excellent way for you to communicate with her. Okay.
I could leave her a message. Yeah.
Absolutely.
And then we'll just figure a time. All right. That sounds good. I need to do that before I go away, because like saying, but I was thinking in my mind when I come back, but I think I'll do before I go, so that you can get on doing what you need to do. So when I come back, I can just get it, purchase it. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Okay. So what I'm going to do is close down the our formal discussion, if you two would hold on. I just want to thank everybody for listening. I hope you got some good information that you can utilize, and so that you can have a happy, healthy, and prosperous life, and a very peaceful home, because you have tamed this terrible tween. You do not have to worry about them going in the room and slamming the door. You can pull out your diffuser and throw in your magic potion, whether you get it from Monica, and I would suggest that you do, or you mix up one of these that you utilize on your own, I would suggest that you look into finding a holistic way of approaching dealing with their self-esteem, mood swings, and short attention span, and their anger management.
Correct.
Any last words from either one of you before I close it out?
I just want to let everyone know that because this is such an important topic of taming your tweens, this blend that I'm selling is only $7.50.
Monica, I want you to start again. Monica.
Okay.
Start that again. I didn't hear clearly, so I'm not sure.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Okay. This issue and the topic of taming your terrible tweens is so, so important. Because, tweens is just a stage. They eventually become adults. And I just want to let you know that the blend that I create, that I custom blend, I'm offering to Elizabeth's audience for only $7.50 because it's so important that we start to learn how to use alternative therapies to address these issues.
Oh, well, thank you so much, Monica. And what I will do is I will definitely post that next to the replay on Facebook. So if there's nothing else, if you all will just hold for a minute, if there's nothing else, I want to thank everybody for tuning in. I hope that you have a very happy and healthy day. May light, love, and laughter follow you on the way. You do not have to deal with the monster in the room. You now have information and tools that you can use to calm it down so that you all can live in a very peaceful environment and prosper. So I thank you all for listening. I'm going to say bye-bye.
Bye-bye.